Hey, welcome back to our Achievement Hunter series, aimed at collecting the Barrens gameplay achievements. In previous guides, we've explored all of the class achievements and the mini-set neutral achievements. Now, it's time to summon the original neutral achievements so that we can capture them too. Let's get into it. This should be interesting. For today's video, we're covering the following 14 neutral achievements from Forged in the Barrens. Grand Guardian, where we summon a 10 cost minion with Primordial Protector. Sting Operation, requiring that we destroy 25 minions with Venomous Scorpids. Frenzy Friends, coaxing us into triggering 100 Frenzy effects. Maximum Security, hiring us to play 50 watch posts. And has anyone seen Mankrik's wife? Where we not only need to find Mankrik's wife, but we need to destroy an opponent with Mankrik consumed by hatred. We also have signature moves, challenging us to cast 100 rank 3 spells. Spawn Shop, tricking us into summoning 50 demon spawn with Burning Blade Acolyte. Hog Wild, corralling us into summoning 50 hogs, which specifically have to come from Hog Rancher. Life is a Highway, calling on us not to just summon or play 100 caravans, but to start 100 turns with one. And the mystery achievement, expecting us to solve the mysteries hidden throughout the Barrens. And because there are a lot of neutral achievements, we're also doing Build a Rock Workshop, enlisting our help to ultimately build custom golems using all 12 herbs. Equivalent Exchange, bartering with us to swap a 0 cost minion with a 10 cost minion using Shadowhunter Vol'jin. Everyone's in here, inviting us to end our turn with 7 Gruntled Patrons. And Top Secret Snoop, conscripting us to copy 5 secrets with a single Horde operative. There are a lot of neutral achievements, and tons of ways to knock these out. But for the sake of sanity and video length, we're just going to introduce 1 or 2 decks per achievement. As noted, the neutral achievements from the mini-set were already covered during our previous guide, conquering the Wailing Caverns achievements, so check the links in the description if you're after one of those. Since most of these don't require that we win games to complete them, we've developed some unusual decks for when it makes things more interesting or efficient. As always, there are timestamps for each achievement and deck codes for each deck mentioned in the description below if you'd like to skip to one you're looking for. Now, let's start our exploration of the Barrens neutral achievements. Let's begin with an achievement that most of you have almost certainly completed already, Sting Operation. For this one, all you have to do is destroy 25 minions with Venomous Scorpid. And since Venomous Scorpid makes the cut in quite a few meta and off-meta decks, this one's pretty easy to knock out, especially since minions your opponent trades into the Scorpids themselves count toward this as well. However, if you're a returning player racing to knock these out before the expansion arrives, or there's some other reason you haven't completed this, we will go ahead and recommend one deck with potential to knock this out pretty quickly. Our Quadruple Threat Neutral Priest. This deck was built with the express purpose of getting relatively swift progress towards this achievement, as well as the Watch Post, Caravan, and Rank 3 spells achievement, all with a single deck. Is it a good deck? We've only played a few games with it, and surprisingly we do have above a 50% win rate, so it's not terrible. And it does a good job of helping get progress towards each of the targeted achievements just about every game. You have to play the Watch Posts to get credit towards that achievement, but the Idol of Yasharj and Blood of Gahun are quite good at summoning sizable copies of Soothsayer's Caravan and Venomous Scorpid to improve the chances of getting the value we're looking for from them. And Raise Dead gives you additional copies to play out alongside copies which get rezzed by Rally. The deck also includes Condemn, but in practice, we often had to play Condemn to stay alive long enough for our big threats. However, you can generate additional copies of Condemn from Renew, Palm Reading, or Venomous Scorpid, so this deck proved to be a surprisingly effective combination of achievement accelerators. Good luck carrying out your Sting Operation. Next up, let's take on the achievement that feels the most grindy, Signature Moves. For this one, we ultimately have to cast a whopping 100 rank 3 spells, meaning that we not only have to get to 10 mana to make these spells rank 3, but we have to wait to play them until we get 10 mana crystals. That's not an easy task for most decks. So there are two main ways to go about speeding this up, and we've got a deck for each. First, you can ramp to 10 mana really quickly in a class like Druid, or you can aim at generating a bunch of extra copies of the rank spell in a class like Priest. First, let's look at Druid. With help from Innervate, Lightning Bloom, Wild Growth, and Overgrowth, it's not terribly difficult to reach 10 mana a few turns early. But Living Seed isn't a remarkably powerful ranked spell, so it doesn't really make the cut in meta decks. However, we do run 2 copies of Living Seed alongside a ton of ramp cards in our Primordial Taunt Beasts Druid deck, which was touting a 100% win rate across 5 games shortly after the mini set came out a little over a month ago. This is a deck we built to help with the Druid Puppy Power achievement, but I'm not sure how well it'll hold up against the refined decks running around the ladder now. It also performed as well as it did because almost every time we cast Living Seed was after it reached rank 2, but we didn't wait for it to reach rank 3. Another drawback for this deck is that it only runs 2 copies of the ranked spells, so your max progress towards the achievement per game is 2. But if you don't want to play Priest, this is an okay alternative. However, the deck we really recommend for this achievement, which helped us knock it out very rapidly, is this Condemnation Rally Priest. In addition to running 2 copies of Condemnation, it runs Sethic Veilweaver alongside Gift of Luminance, Psyche Split, and Rally, so that your Sethic Veilweaver generation engine can keep on chugging well past turn 10 for lots of chances at additional copies of Condemnation. Nazmani Bloodweaver and Palm Reading are also amazing for helping us to pull off insane pop-off turns. And although Renew was recently nerfed and the data is old, it's been 50 days since we grinded this out, this deck had a 56% win rate across 34 games while trying to get max progress towards this achievement. So playing this deck to finish off the achievement shouldn't completely tank your rank. This one will be a grind, but if you rally some signature moves of Priest to help you out, it shouldn't take too long. Now, that last achievement is a grind, but you can at least knock it out with strong decks over time. Life is a Highway, however, requires intentionally including cards which are, to say it nicely, utter garbage. And not only do you have to harm the deck by including them, they have to survive till the following turn to get any value and progress towards this achievement. This one's not so fun. Fortunately, there are quite a few resurrection and larger stat options available to Priest in Wild, which can speed up progress towards this one quite a bit. This Zombie Caravans Priest deck only runs 3 minions: Soothsayer's Caravan, Archmage Vargoth, and Blood of Gahun. So even if you miss getting a Caravan from Shadow Essence or Idol of Yasharj, there'll be another chance to get an extra statted copy summoned onto the board at the end of your turn. And with Resurrect, Eternal Servitude, and the Diamond Spellstone, as well as Mass Resurrection, there are plenty of ways to keep bringing the Caravans back. What's probably the one good thing about this achievement is that if you start your turn with 3, 4, or 5 Caravans on board, you'll get that many points of progress towards the achievement. So a single game where you're able to flood the board with Caravans your opponent fails to remove can get heaps of progress towards this achievement. I think I had between 10 to 15 progress towards this achievement when I started grinding with this deck, and 13 games later, it was complete. So this is our best recommendation for conquering the Highway. Of course, if you hate Priest and or would prefer to knock this out in Standard, we do have another deck that's pretty interesting alternative for Paladins. The Caravan of Dudes is a pretty aggressive build of Dude Paladin with a couple ways to improve our chances of getting progress with Soldier's Caravan. It runs Gift of Luminance to give the Caravan Divine Shield and summon another copy, so it'll take a bit more work for the opponent to completely remove them. And as the Caravan is the only 2-drop, Rally will bring it back. The rest of the deck is Silverhand, Recruit, or Secret Synergy cards alongside card draw. This didn't have a very strong win rate, so I can really only recommend it for people eager to go at this with a thoroughly off-meta deck who don't mind getting very gradual progress towards the achievement. Still, compared with the Caravan's survival rates in other classes, Paladins did the best outside of Priest. Good luck littering the highway with Caravans. Now, let's move on to an achievement that's a bit more fun. Maximum Security just requires that we play 50 watch posts. That's it. Toss them in a deck, draw, and play them out. You're done. We knocked this one out about 1 week into the expansion with this Death Post's Demon Hunter, one of our viewers introduced us to. It's not very popular anymore, but there are stats for it on HS Replay you can check out to help with the mulligan or if you're looking to swap out a couple of the cards. We're including the list we played initially, but if going after the achievement with this today, I'd probably drop the True Aim Crescent, Fog Sail Freebooter, Dark Spear Berserkers, and Vengeful Spirits for Aldrachi Warblades, Chaos Strike, Devouring Ectoplasm, and Fell Rattlers. But if you want a more recently built deck that's quite a bit of fun and thoroughly off meta, we recently highlighted this Watch the Menagerie Paladin, which also includes Party Up, in case you're still going after that achievement. While the watch posts that come back from Rally won't count towards the achievement, they will make Cargill swing the board even harder when he comes down. This is a fun build we used to celebrate our 500th ranked win with Paladin. We just reached 500 wins since I avoided playing in ranked for many years, and I still refuse to play meta decks most of the time. Good luck watching opponents struggle to remove your watch posts. As a fan of anime and a self-proclaimed alchemist, I'm very much a fan of this next achievement, Equivalent Exchange. Though obviously we're trying to circumvent the laws of equivalent exchange to pull this one off. Fortunately, unlike alchemy, with just a little bit of creative deck building, this one is super easy to master. We knocked this one out with our Watch the Cute Rogue, which used the draw engine provided by Field Contact to help us cycle through the deck fairly quickly. The Watch Post package and Hog Ranchers were in the deck as well to get progress towards those achievements at the same time. And, you know, flooding the board with cute hogs and Murloc Tiny Fins is a worthwhile endeavor in and of itself. So all you have to do with this deck is get the Murloc Tiny Fin, Scrapyard Colossus, and Shadow Hunter Vol'jin into hand and play out the Tiny Fin to swap Colossus with Vol'jin. There are quite a few other minions in this deck, so you'll want to play them out first, but for the sake of helping cycle through the deck and getting progress towards other achievements, we left them in. You could switch to a weapon and secret heavy version with Tiny Fin, Colossus, and Vol'jin as your only minions, so that Swindle will be guaranteed to pull them from your deck if you prefer. Or you could just build a heavy cycle deck in really any class you like. But we chose to watch the cuteness with Rogue. Have fun ignoring the laws of equivalent exchange. Speaking of cuteness, I love Tiny Fin, but I'm pretty sure the Hog from Hog Rancher is the cutest minion from the Barrens. So, although Hog Rancher doesn't make the cut in any meta decks, surely summoning this much cuteness onto the board for Hog Wild will make the grind feel worth it, right? Since we specifically have to summon the Hogs with Hog Rancher to get progress, Beast Copy and Resurrection cards won't help us. But it's still possible to get tons of progress towards this per game with a deck like our Hog Waggles Scheme Rogue in Wild. It uses a Mill Rogue shell to cycle through the deck extremely quickly and get Hog Rancher and Hog Waggles Scheme into hand, with bounces from Shadow Step and Vanish alongside shuffles with Togwaggle's Scheme and Lab Recruiter, it won't be very difficult to play quite a few Hog Ranchers per game. Though, to help cycle through, to get your schemed ranchers, you may prefer to use Lab Recruiters on Coldlight Oracle instead. Whatever the case, this deck knocks out Hog Wild very quickly. Though, if you prefer to work on multiple achievements with a class other than Rogue, or just want to do it in Standard all at once, you could use this Slam Achievements Hunter deck. Serpent Bloom makes the hogs you summon feel even better while getting progress towards the Poison, Poise Off achievement. But it also runs Primordial Protector alongside Nagrand Slam in case you want to knock out the next achievement we'll be looking at in a class other than Druid. And with Barrens to help time Mankrik's reunion with his wife, this deck has the potential to knock out several achievements at once. Enjoy going Hog Wild for this one. Since the Fire Festival gave us a cool alternative skin for Malfurion, there have been a whole lot of Druids running around. But at least in Standard, this next achievement, Grand Guardian, is probably pulled off easiest in Druid. Well, in Standard, the only options of getting a 10-cost Primordial Protector minion are with Survival of Fittest in Druid and Nagrand Slam in Hunter. If you want to do this in Hunter, the Slam Achievements deck we just introduced will work pretty well. But if you're looking to knock this out quickly and haven't played Primordial Druid yet, this Primordial Survival deck from HS Replay is an extremely reliable way to knock this out using a deck with over a 60% win rate. As long as you don't draw both your survivals before your Protector, you'll be done with this one like that. Have fun revealing your Primordial side. Next up, we're gonna make Mankrik relive a traumatic experience many times until he kills our opponent in a blind rage. Has anyone seen Mankrik's wife? Is perhaps the most disturbing achievement Hearthstone has made, but it's also one of the most impressive from a lore and flavor standpoint. Timing Mankrik consumed by Hatred's arrival just right to kill the opponent is a bit tricky, but Barrens in Hunter can help time things just right if you want to knock this out in Hunter. Most Face Hunter decks run Mankrik and Barrens together, and while we won't be featuring one here, we'll go ahead and include a deck code for one of the higher win rate decks from HS Replay in the description. Another way to pull this off is to shuffle a bunch of copies of Mankrik's wife into the deck so there is a better chance of drawing an angry Mankrik, or 2 or 3, right when needed to punch that last bit of damage. That's precisely what we did with this Sorry Mankrik rogue deck. It uses a Miracle Rogue Shell to cycle through the deck quickly, and then has Shadow Step, Tenwu, and even Potion of Illusion to help us shuffle lots of Dying Wives into the deck. You could swap Grand Empress Shek'Zara into the deck to ensure the timing is just right when you've thinned your deck enough, but she's not necessary. Well, she's not necessary for that deck, but she certainly makes the finish of this next deck in Wild quite spectacular. This Mankrik's Revenge Rogue deck from Mark McKazy is the deck we use to complete this. It uses the original Rogue quest to transform all your minions into 5/5s, with easy quest completion from Bloodsail Flybooter, which Captain's Parrot can help pull from our deck. Then you can shuffle a bunch of copies of Mankrik's wife into the deck with help from Brand's Bronzebeard and Augmented Elix. If you've discounted them with Emperor Thaurissan or have counterfeit coins, Bran double Elic into Mankrik will shuffle 6 wives into the deck. And if you have an empty board to play Shek'Zara onto and find Mankrik's wife, you can summon 6 5/5 Raging Mankriks onto the board all at once for a 30 damage burst lethal on the opponent. While we didn't pull off that perfect scenario, it is the deck that got us there, and this is a really cool combo. Have fun traumatizing Mankrik into killing your opponent. While we're still in a diabolical mindset, let's summon some Demon Spawn. Spawn Shop requires that we summon 50 Demon Spawn using Burning Blade Acolyte. If it didn't have to be with Burning Blade Acolyte, N'Zoth, God of the Deep, would be a great help to knocking this one out quickly. However, N'Zoth the Corruptor in Wild is quite helpful towards knocking this out, and the Jewel of N'Zoth in Standard is great too. Actually, that's why we're recommending Sidisi's Jewel Aggressor Hunter as a fun and relatively consistent way to knock this out. There are quite a few Death Rattle minions in the deck aside from Burning Blade Acolyte, so Jewel of N'Zoth won't always be guaranteed to bring back additional copies of him. But in a meta as aggressive as this, you'll want the other Death Rattles to help keep you alive long enough to play out the Acolyte and get value from him. Fortunately, Talon pulls the Primordial Protectors, which pull the Jewels of N'Zoth, so if you've killed off an Acolyte, you can get him back fairly consistently. And Animated Broomstick can help ensure you manage to kill him off without being silenced or transformed. Or it can help you swing the board when you play a Jewel of N'Zoth. Now, if you're looking for a wacky way to get progress towards this in Wild, this Germinating Demon Spawns Druid uses Germination to get additional copies of Burning Blade Acolyte with Taunt themselves so the opponent can't ignore them. And once you've killed off a few, N'Zoth will bring them back for additional progress. If your opponent doesn't play any minions for you to kill them off or decides to ignore them, Poison Seeds is a decent way to trigger their Death Rattles and get a few extra tutus on the board. Here's wishing you the best of luck setting up your spawn shop. So yeah, the mystery achievement takes a while to get through. Fortunately, we've made a separate video with a clear walkthrough of the entire process with suggested decks and links to helpful resources to knock it out. There's a link to that video above and in the description. If you're looking for it from our list of videos, this is the thumbnail from the video published on May 11th. If you follow all the steps in the guide, you'll knock it out with relative ease. Hopefully you'll get it right the first time. I didn't. But maybe you'll be better at following directions than me? Good luck. Now onto an achievement that can be pulled off in a single game if things go well. Everyone's in here. For this one, you have to end your turn with 7 Gruntled Patrons. Certainly not an easy task if you're trying to just do it by playing patrons out and triggering their frenzy effects naturally, but with the right deck, it won't be too difficult. The first deck we're recommending is this Gruntled Shout Warrior in Wild. It's got lots of card draw alongside control tools so that you can draw into the 3 cards you'll need for this combo: Commanding Shout, Gruntled Patron, and Bladestorm. You'll want to use one of your many board clears to ensure there are no minions on the board, or at least none that are below 6 health, and then play Gruntled Patron and Commanding Shout, then Bladestorm, so that you can fill your side of the board with 3/1 copies of Gruntled Patron. End your turn, and the achievement will be complete. Now, the deck we used to complete this in Standard back in April takes quite a few more cards played in a single turn than the Warrior deck we just introduced. Gruntled Pensrogue uses the Field Contact Draw Engine alongside discounts from Efficient Octobot to draw into and discount both copies of Gruntled Patron so that you can play and bounce Pinflingers to trigger the Patron's Frenzy. You'll want to save a Backstab in hand so that you can trigger the final Frenzy to summon the 7th Patron. If you'd like to see the full process of how we pulled it off, there's a link to the highlight video in the description. Good luck getting everyone in here. Next up, we get to get our hands dirty. Sculpting Golems. Build a Rock Workshop ultimately calls on us to build golems using each of the 12 different herbs. So all 6 options from the first choice and all 6 options from the second choice. Kazakus is quite popular, so if you have him in your collection, you've probably knocked this one out. If you haven't, you'll likely want to write down each of the options you choose each time and use Process of Elimination to knock out the last 1 or 2. If you don't have Kazakus in your collection, it doesn't look like he's offered in the duels buckets. You can get him in Arena, but that would mean avoiding 4-drops during your draft, hoping you get him offered. It's not an efficient way to go after this achievement, and you'll have to draw and play him at least 6 times to complete this, so it'll be a challenge, but it is an option. But if you do have him and haven't knocked this achievement out yet, a deck with a decent win rate that will let you bounce Kazakis multiple times per game so you can craft each version you need is this Miracle Bounces Rogue from HS Replay. It's just Miracle Rogue, but you use your Shadow Steps and Tinwu on Kazakis instead of Alexstrasza or Jandis. That's it. Good luck building just the right golem for each occasion. Let's knock out one more easy achievement before we go after the most challenging one from the set. Frenzy Friends just has us trigger 100 Frenzy effects. Since this is the keyword from the set, and there are quite a few strong Frenzy minions, most viewers have likely finished this one. But if you're someone who still needs to knock this one out, and you're looking to do it quickly, this Frenzied Rush Warrior is a strong twist on the Rush Warrior shell that's running 8 Frenzy minions. Zoth can bring back 3 of them at once for additional Frenzy triggers, and Overlord Sourfang will bring back and trigger 2 Frenzies at once. So it won't take long to get to 100 triggered Frenzy effects with this deck. Good luck whipping your minions into a frenzy. And finally, we come to what is most likely the most challenging achievement to pull off. Top Secret Snoop. For this one, you have to copy 5 secrets with a single Horde operative. Since no meta decks in Standard, except for the occasional Secret Rogue, ever have 5 secrets equipped at once, you're probably going to have to do this in Wild. And most likely, it'll take some setup from you to encourage your opponent to help you do this one. The deck we use to complete Top Secret Snoop is this Operative Opus deck from Nicklink. The idea is to cycle through the deck like mad so that you draw 5 secrets, Lorewalker Cho, and Horde Operative. That's the bare minimum so that you can play Lorewalker Cho and donate 5 secrets to your opponent for them to play out. And you play Horde Operative on your turn to copy the secrets. Achievement complete. Easy, right? 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 It would be that easy if opponents realized what you're doing and chose to play along. If you're lucky, that's how it'll play out, but that rarely happens. So, this deck includes a bit of extra motivation to help the opponent along. You make yourself immune with timeout so they don't just kill you, and you can even make the secrets free for them to play with Millhouse Manastorm. You'll need 3 mana worth of discounts from Emperor Thaurissan to play everything in the same turn, but with 8 cards in the ultimate combo, getting a discount on 3 of them shouldn't be hard. Another challenge is that your opponent needs to have 5 empty spots in hand so that they can receive the secrets you donate. But if you jump through all the hoops, give your opponent 5 secrets, completely free spells due to Millhouse, and make yourself immune with timeout, your opponent can still choose to completely ignore it all and not play along, which has happened several times. But hopefully, after setting up as much as possible multiple times, you'll encounter a reluctantly cooperative opponent who will let you complete this achievement as you practically hand them the win. Now, one thing you don't have to worry about with this achievement is getting rid of all your own secrets before playing Horde Operative. As long as your opponent has 5 secrets out there, even if you have several equipped when you play Horde Operative, it will count. We've got a highlight video going through the whole process from when we completed this up above and linked in the description. So to help your opponent help you complete this achievement, you just need Lorewalker Cho, Horde Operative, and 5 secrets. Lots of people have built variations on this, and while I think Nicklink's is probably the best, I'll also highlight 4IM King's Super Snoopers deck as an alternative way you may want to try out. It runs tons of secrets alongside several secret synergy cards such as Illuminator and Northwatch Commander, so that you're almost certain to have 5 secrets in hand when you draw Lorewalker Cho and Horde Operative. Cannon Master Smythe is completely unnecessary, but he's fun to play while you're waiting to get all the cards together. Good luck finding an opponent who allows you to become a Top Secret Snoop. And that's a wrap. If you found this helpful, drop a like. By forging a pillar of likes, the YouTube algorithm will ensure recommended feeds are not barren. And with this, we've finally covered all the achievements from Forged in the Barrens. We'll be doing these for United in Stormwind achievements as well, and hopefully release them a bit faster this time. But we also make other guides and highlights, so be sure to check back or subscribe because we're building a rocking workshop full of great content. And if you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. Also, if you enjoy participating in experiments live, check out our stream at twitch.tv/SSAlchemist. We currently stream on Saturdays and Sundays. And remember, you're awesome. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.
Strength and honor. This is who we